Greetings, everyone. So tonight I'm going to talk about how narcissists play games. So before you realize what narcissism is, or for that matter, manipulators, manipulative behaviors, abusive behaviors, gaslighting, they love to play games. They love to play games and orchestrate an environment in which they play people against each other, in which they make you look like a bad guy or girl. They love to play mind games. And I believe a lot of the mind game stuff is gaslighting. Like, for example, let's say you're a married couple, husband, wife, and your husband tells you, honey, don't forget that lunch dinner we have next Thursday. And you're like, okay, I'll make sure to put it on the calendar. And then you ask him, do they want me to bring a dish? And he says, oh yeah, I think we got salads. So, you're taking care of the kids, you're making sure the house is in order. You make a macaroni salad. And, you plan accordingly. And then Wednesday night, your husband says, you ask him, okay, how it goes is, you ask him a question and say, oh, I got the macaroni salad all ready for tomorrow. And he's going to look at you real crazy, just staring at you what are you talking about? What lunch? Now you, because you have nobody else to validate or verify, you're thinking you're going crazy. So it's real. They do it all the time. I happen to think a lot of the workplace drama that you hear about in workplaces is narcissist, or sometimes plural narcissists playing mind games with people. It's really it's this compulsion, they have to do it. It's to keep everybody worried, nervous, on edge, confused, not knowing what's going on. Anyone that has good discernment will leave, if possible. Because we know that's not always possible. But they're always messing with your head, all the time. They'll say something to you like, I told you we were going to vacation in Florida. I told you about that. Why are you acting like you don't have any idea what I'm talking about? When in fact they never said anything. It's always, and you'll start doubting yourself. You'll start feeling bad. The few friends that you still have, you will explain it to them, and because you're not in the mindset yet of, I'm going to leave my husband, whatever your friend says to you, you're going to either dismiss or you're going to start distancing yourself from your friend, because your friend has always had your back, and your friend is he's messing with your head. And you can't wrap your head around that, or the other part of you is thinking to yourself, if he's doing this, then that means I have to do something, and I'm not ready. So It's, me personally, I think during the whole pandemic, I think there was a whole lot of that going on. And I was saddened to see how many people were falling for all the stories and the emergencies and all this crap. And that's like mind control. That's the trauma mind control. But narcissism and trauma mind control are very, unfortunately, there's a lot of similarities. So, and I've also noticed, I'm thinking about one narcissist that I dealt with. More like, technically, if a psychiatrist was to have evaluated this person, probably would have said borderline. And I don't know that much about borderline, but more so the histrionic behaviors, which I think they've changed that, the histrionic. But, it's the whole idea of, like, just outrageous shit happening all the time. And the people that act like that, they will stress you out so freaking bad. They'll be calling the police about crazy stuff. They will give you responsibilities as a child that you shouldn't be doing. And then when you mess it up because you're a child, you're going to feel bad about yourself, taking on responsibilities you never should have taken on. But it's a mind game. It's a mind game. And borderline is very interesting. And, honestly, I'm not a psychiatrist or a therapist. I did go to school for social work, but I'm talking about the more malevolent type borderline, which narcissism and the borderline, it's, if you have, I don't think that they're separate most of the time. And I say most of the time, but like with that kind of personality, I think about Ollie Matthews with his mother. Man, that is it's so outrageous. It's so extreme. It's so toxic. It's so abusive. And like, because you're always confused, you're always scared, you're always worried. And usually it will be subjects and topics you're worried about or fearful about that's not really your job or your role to take on. For example, a child being severely parentified. It will mess with your mind so badly that you will start to question yourself, and you will start to doubt anything that you used to believe in about yourself. Like I said, the loss of self. It is necessary for the narcissist to make you lose your sense of self, or to uproot it, or to destroy it, really. Now, with children, it's a whole different, it's different. It's a different scenario. But the mind games, I'm just thinking of this one narcissist that I dealt with as a child. Man, it's crazy. They'll get you up in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 in the morning, and tell you to go look for their boyfriend. Putting children in danger and real crazy kind of things. And I often wonder, I think a lot of the people that are doing that, the narcissist, that they really think all this stuff, like that's how their mind works. And how they can't identify that it's cruel and abusive. I mean, maybe from an intellectual standpoint, they know it's abusive and wrong, but because they're so needy and so dysregulated, so cruel and manipulative that they have to continue this behavior of mind games. I would say a more borderline narcissistic person will make their 7-year-old drive the car. Well, obviously that's abusive, but it's also mind games. Because a 7-year-old doesn't know how to drive a car. I mean, sometimes they do, but they're usually too small to drive the car, especially in the city. And it's really super going to confuse them. And I've seen people that were in these kinds of familial relationships never get therapy, and they are really messed up. So it's me personally, and I don't want to get into the whole, what's really going on in the world, because I'm well aware of what's going on in the world. In a lot of subjects. I don't know about everything, but I know a lot of shit. But what I was going to say is, I'll bet you a lot of us could agree that the media plays games with people's minds. With all the propaganda. So, I would also say too, like if you're ever watching a television show or a news, which I haven't watched the news in probably 30 years, maybe even longer, around that time. If you are watching something and you start to feel upset, angry, nauseous, divided, especially the division, that is mind games. And again, too, it's the trauma mind control. So, yeah, anyways, that's all I'm going to talk about with the mass media. But I also think back to my childhood. Mind games might be like a bully, which I'm pretty sure a lot of bullies are narcissists. However, I do think some bullies are thrown into that role because they're being beaten and abused at home, and then when they come to school, they take out their trauma, their frustrations, their hurt on other children. And I do think some of the bullies are not narcissists. So, where was I going with this? Oh, I was bullied relentlessly as a child for a few reasons, but mostly because of my red curly hair. It was brutal. And as a young girl, and my mother tried to help me, she did, and my dad did too in his own weird way, but I was very sensitive and extremely shy. I don't have any of that, shyness anymore. Zero. But I was very sensitive and extremely, extremely shy. So I didn't know how to deal with that. And it is a mind game. It really is. Whether the bully, the young, 10-year-old bully knows it or not, it is a mind game, because in making up songs to make fun of my name, to make fun of my hair, it was so bad. It was so bad. I had a high school teacher. I'm not going to say his name. I kind of want to, but I'm not going to say it. Mr. M. He tried to stand up for me because it was so bad. And that was in 7th grade still that was going on. So, it's like to screw up your mind. There's no other reason for bullying than to play games with a person's mind. And then the minute that you stand up for yourself or you beat them up back, it stops. And all the craziness going on in the school nowadays is just so messed up. Oh my God. More than likely, I didn't have children for a reason. There had to be a reason. There had to be a reason. Because I am 100% sure I totally would have been in jail. I'm not kidding. With the way things are nowadays. But, yeah, just always remember when you're around a person that just keeps messing with your head, or it's that snarky, like, arrogant, whiny kind of voice, like, I told you about that. And then they'll smile real crazy, like real weird. And you might not catch it immediately, but like you're wondering, like, what are you talking about? Sometimes you'll fight back, and usually if you fight back with a narcissist, they will dig their knuckles in. They will constantly tell you how that's not the way things are, and you're screwed up in your mind, and you're an idiot. Like, how could you think of this way? Or they might start yelling. It's always like a distraction to throw you off from your healthy thinking. Because in order to be around them, you absolutely cannot think in a healthy way. They will make sure of it. And if you're dealing with more than one, it can be so awful. So, I don't want to make this too long. I hope this was helpful. But again, I'll say anytime you're feeling confused, or if your feelings are hurt a lot, if someone's always putting you down, and it's like a mind game too. I'll use one example. And there's like different methods of mind games, obviously. The triangulation, one of their favorite tools. Let's say you just started dating this guy. You've been with him like 8 months. And initially everything was great, and then as it is with narcissists, it starts to go downhill, and that's when they start to kind of test the waters, put you down, love bomb you, put you down. And so this guy that you thought was cool and was someone that cared about you starts to say to you, oh, your lovemaking is not even close to what Danielle was. Danielle is his ex-girlfriend. Little things like that, which is gaslighting, which is cruelty, which is mind games. If the more you learn about this stuff, that's your, I don't even want to say red flag, but that's your little sign to say, okay, time to go. Bye. So anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Peace.